again, today we are going through the material of the training for the youngsters in prison. And I can't show you everything because the complete training is 20 hours, so I cannot show you everything. But I've tried to show you a way to build up your training. So again, very important, you make this your training. Because you need to be able to give it, so you need to be able to say, this is the information that I can transmit, this is what I have, and this I feel confident in giving. So really make sure you know for yourself what you want to train. And we're going through the topics again. Today you will see parts of the training. And again, you can use the sheet that you got from me yesterday to note if you think this is something you can do or not. So the objectives of the training is to create enthusiasm about working in the blue economy and establish ocean awareness. The training we did yesterday, the topics, was a lot on ocean awareness. So all these little notes on where a ship owner or a vessel can be more sustainable, can think of awareness. Those are important notes to take with you and to bring into the training wherever you can. So how do we reach these objectives? The first and foremost important thing is to establish a connection. Because we've done the pilots, and what we notice, if you don't explain what you're doing there, you are perceived as someone that's just again telling them a story that they can't do anything with. You will not reach your objectives. So create a connection. Then the way you do this training is very important. So the didactics. Max will tell something about how our pilot went and how you can optimize that. Make sure you have a lot of interactive elements. We did some games yesterday, we will do some games today. Pick and choose what you want to do. And if you have other great ideas, add them. Because the more interactive it is, the better it will be perceived. And make sure your training is adaptive. What we've noticed a lot is that the youngsters come up with, well, to me, a bit weird questions. But they're questions from enthusiasm. So I was talking about container vessels and how they work and how they were doing, and then they were like, but how does it stay upright? Okay, now I have to take a step back, because that's a difficult question. It's about stability, it's about a lot of mathematics, so I can't explain that whole story, but I can try to explain the basics of it. But if you don't want to face these questions, or you don't know how to answer these questions, don't start bullshitting your way out of it. Because they'll know it doesn't work, you don't get an aim. So choose parts of the training that you think I can answer enough questions about this. And if you cannot answer a question, write it down, say, next time I'll be here, I'll have an answer for you. But now I just don't know, be honest. So first we will go through the training and then some didactics. We think we will change it up a little bit to keep everything like fresh and going. So Max will do some didactics after the lunch to get you inspired, and then we continue with the rest of the training after that. So after the first pilot, I made this decision scheme. It's in your folders. And I made this because we realized it's important to be able to improvise during the training and be adaptive. So what you do when you start giving the training, you start at the start, obviously. So we have an introduction training, very important. And this introduction training is about establishing this connection, making sure you connect with the youngsters, you tell them what the project is about, and you let them figure out what the blue economy is for them. I will get back to that. Then the introduction kind of finishes with slide 17. And slide 17 has blue economy sectors that we discussed within the project and we think are important. And we can find jobs in every country that is in the project. So that's why we chose these 4 maritime sectors. If you can only find information about 2, don't start talking about the other 2, because you will get questions. And if you don't have the information, then you will not have a very effective training. So of these 4 sectors, first is fisheries and aquaculture, maritime service and tourism, port industry, and shipping and transport. Of these 4 sectors, really, really, really choose what you will be able to give. And you don't have to do it alone, I think. I don't know if that counts for everyone, but make sure you divide it. If you're going with 2 trainers, then say, okay, I'm going to choose 1 and 2. I'm going to completely make myself a specialist of this, and the other is going to do the other 2. So you can divide and conquer. Then it's good to do maybe like a short introduction into these sectors, and then let them choose. So first they can choose the sector they want to hear more about. That means that they got enthusiastic. If they're all not enthusiastic and they're not, then you just choose your own, your preferred sector. You talk about what it is for a short period of time, and then you check. You do a check-in with the group. How are you doing? Are you still okay listening to me? Or should we do something active? And you don't have to ask it. You can ask it, but you don't have to. You can always already see it. If everyone is like, this is so boring, then you know you have to do something different because they're not getting enthusiastic. So your first goal is not reached. So you change it up. So you choose, okay, now we're going to do something active. So you play the fishing game, for instance, when you're doing fisheries and aquaculture. Or you do the memory game. We have a memory game in shipping. Or you do a different game that we did yesterday. We have communication, for instance. I think it's effective to all of them, but I put them with ports because in the port there is a lot of communication going on. So communication is very important between the ships and the ports. But of course it's always important. So you can do the drawing game if you want. So you mix it up and you really read your audience. And then at the end of that, you have done some theory, you have done something active. You check, okay, what's my time? What do I still have in terms of knowledge? What questions did I get? Okay, they're still interested in a different topic. I'm going to talk a bit about the salaries of shipping, for instance. Or I think they could do one more activity. I'm going to choose an active part of something. And with that, if you think, okay, we're almost there, they're almost done, you start with the final module. And the final module is compiling everything you discussed and see, is there something that you thought was interesting in the jobs? So how do you apply for that? And applying for the job, we have a lot of, we have a lecture about that as well, and some activities. So you can choose as well how you do that. If you do everything fully, it should be between 10 or 20 hours. So you can fill a week, I think. But I don't think you need to, because the goal is enthusiasm. So don't stretch it just because you want to fit in all the information. I'm doing that now today and yesterday, and I don't think you like it very much. You like hearing all the new things, but the tiring days are enough, and especially in these groups. So this is the decision scheme, and I might adapt it a little bit with some evaluation as well, but I just wanted to present it to you and give you a starting point. And if you have any ideas or things that need to be different on that, then please let me know and we will adapt. Okay, so create a connection. And then we always ask the question, what's in it for me? We do this with the fishers, we do this with the seafarers. Because if it's nothing in there for them, you're losing them. So ask yourself the question, okay, right now I'm a youngster in prison. What's in it for me? What do I gain from this? What do you have to bring? What will you give me? So be prepared to fill that question, to know what to say. And that's also how we start. You start with a pre-evaluation. So we made some forms where you do a pre-evaluation and you basically ask them, what do you know about the blue economy? Do you know anything about the blue economy? The form is now a bit difficult, we've noticed during the pilot. So we will adapt the form to make it more visual and more easy to use for the students. So you can give this form and then ask who they are. What do they like to do in their spare time? What are they doing in school? Maybe they have courses that they really like. Just try to get a little bit of information out of them. If they don't want to talk, let them be. If they do want to talk, then motivate them. Talk about the Turning Blue. What are we doing? What is this project about? And also, what is it bringing them? We can give this very complicated conversation about our story about what we're doing in this project and all the goals we have. They don't care. What's in it for them? What is this project going to bring them? Maybe a new sector where they can find a job. Maybe some information about cool jobs out there. Maybe some knowledge about life at sea. That's in it for them. That's what they want to hear. And then tell them how we're going to reach this. So we're going to showcase the jobs. We're going to try to create this overview for them with this introduction course. And then there's this online platform where they can find all this information again, and where they hopefully, with the help from someone inside the prison and a mentor, can maybe start looking for a job or apply to a job or look what kind of jobs are out there. So that's what the platform is for. So when you go to the blue economy, again, I already said this, what is familiar, what do you know, what is interesting, and let the participant really, really lead you in this, in their interest. Their interest should be the guiding point of your training. So we start with creating a mind map. And you can do it in a couple of ways. You can all give them their own paper, and they can make their own mind map. You can put them in groups, and they can together make a mind map. I also had one group where there were like 3 people very motivated. The rest was just, they felt a bit scared to me, so they were backing off. I didn't want to push them, so we just did it all together on a whiteboard. And then suddenly when the 3 of them were like shouting all these things that are the blue economy, the rest broke up as well and started opening up and started saying things. So you can choose different ways of doing this. You can let them be creative. If you know you have a very creative group, then let them draw. Let them choose their way of expressing. And then you'll probably get some interesting topics from this question. So what is the blue economy? Well, in the Netherlands, it's a lot about containers. And then you can talk about that. If they did something bad with a container, they can most likely not work with container vessels. And you have to be honest about that as well, because yeah, it's the first thing they're all gonna say, oh, if I can work in the port, maybe I can get very close to the containers. You're like, no, of course, that's not gonna happen. If that's something you did, no. But there can also be jobs they've never heard of. So then start talking about it. What did you mean with ocean? What do you mean with fishing? What kind of fisheries do you know? Well, you can ask all these kind of questions to get them into this mind map. Then we propose the blue economy according to the European Union, and it's big and a lot. And here again, be honest, there's a lot of jobs in here that you can only do with a university degree. So makes no sense to talk about it for most of them. So we talk about what does make sense, what we do have jobs for. And then you do the quiz. We have these cards because you cannot do a Kahoot. So through all the training material, there is quiz questions, and you can let them answer with the cards. Tamara and Max did it in the prison, and they really liked it, right?
Yes, they loved it.
Yeah, so.
They were always asking, when is the next one?
Yeah, so if you come up with nice questions yourself, put them in. All good. We will share some of the cards that you can print them as well. It's easy. Okay, so we will start. There's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot going on in these sectors. I'm starting with the maritime services and tourism. And I start with this because this is the biggest one. There is so much going on. I heard someone talk about surfing yesterday. I would say diving, sailing. There's a lot of tourism already. But then in maritime services, you have offshore. You have oil platforms. You have wind turbine building. You have platform ships that just carry other ships. You have ships that bring food to the platforms. And so there's a lot going on in this sector. It's probably the biggest. So choose. You have a lot of possibilities, but choose what you want to tell. Choose what's interesting for your country. And the easiest way to do this, and also to inspire the students, because they might, when you've done the mind map, you might feel, there's not so much information there yet. Like they don't really know anything about the blue economy. Start with a guest lecture. So you've organized some guest lectures from the maritime sectors. Find something and start with that. So that's what we're going to do today as well. I want to ask Robert to tell about his experiences as a fisher, but also he was our guest lecturer, one of our guest lecturers during the pilot, so he will also be able to tell something about his guest lecture in prison. And you like it a lot when people ask you questions, so ask him questions. There you go.
Okay. My name is Robert. I was a fisherman my whole life, up until 4 years ago. I think that's why they asked me. So I will tell something about the week at sea, how that goes. That's it. I started fishing when I was young. Went to the fishery school. Start on the lowest part, so I start on the deck. Then, in a few years I worked my way up to the engine room, and then I was a cook, and then I come to the bridge, to the steering house, and then at last I was a skipper, so everything is possible. Now, a week at sea starts at Sunday evening. You go to the ship. You take everything with you, your clothes, the food, because you have no supermarket on the sea, of course, so you have to bring everything. And then the ship is already ready for the week, so it has a lot of fuel. The fuel is full. You have water, and then you leave the harbor. The ships where I was in, we were 4 people. So it was not so big ship, 24 meters. You leave the harbor and immediately you start fishing. So you put the nets out and then you start fishing. And most of the time, after 1 hour, 1.5, you start hauling the nets. Because you catch a lot of not only fish, but you also catch some starfish and sand and shells and rocks, so you don't want too much in the net. So you hold the nets, 2 guys are on the deck, they empty the nets, the fish goes into big boxes, and as soon as possible the nets again outside, because when the nets are up, that's nothing. So the nets go back, and then they start the process to sorting the fish. So two guys go on deck, they sort the fish, everything what we don't need and don't want goes back overboard, so as the sand, the small fish, the rocks and that kind of thing. And we start cleaning the fish, so we take out the guts, start washing them, then they go into the hull of the ship, to the cooling area. We put them in boxes on ice. We weigh them, and we send the information to the bridge, so the captain knows, okay, this hole, they have so many fish in it, and that, and that. In the meantime, there is yeah, the whole process. When you're lucky, you catch a lot. It takes an hour, and then again, the nets come up, and the whole process begins again. So there's, yeah, it's hard work. So I mentioned we are with 4 people. There's always one sleeping. So easy counting, 4 people, that's 6 hours a day. So 6 hours a day you are sleeping, and the rest, the 18 hours you are working. Not the whole time, because sometimes it happens when you catch a lot. You work hard, but then also you earn a lot. So as Cor said, you get a piece of the share of the cash. So the more cash, the more money. Yeah, and that process goes on the whole week, day and night. A lot of when you were in the prison, they thought, no, it's 5, 8, and then at 5 o'clock, we have time for ourselves, and that. No, that's not the case. In the meantime, you have also do some maintenance at the nets. Sometimes you break a net, you have to fix it, you have to cook, you have to clean, you have do everything what you do at home. Yeah, that's mostly what happens. And then you say, yeah, boring. But yeah, it's not. It's every hole you do is exciting. You are anxious to know what's inside, what do we catch, and yeah, you've seen it in the game. Everybody wants to catch, and we're no different. We also want to catch. You have the freedom. I think it's freedom because yeah, you go when you leave the harbor, you leave everything behind. That's what they do on the land. Okay, we go to sea with the 4 of us, and we're going to make something of it. That's yeah. When you have a good crew, it's top. It's really no experience ever on another job because now I'm a teacher then at the maritime school, but when there's a problem, you fix it with everything what you have, because there is no for example, the motor, there's something wrong with the engine, you have to fix it. You cannot go inside. You can go inside, but it's time. And time is, when you go inside, you are not fishing. When you're not fishing, no money. So, yeah, you have to be innovative to fix some things, and sometimes you do it with abracadabra. But,
creative, you have to be creative.
Creative. Yeah. But that also gives it a kick. Anyway, at the end of the week, you come inside and you say, wow, yes, we got it, we have good catch, we have some problems, we fix it, we do it together. Nice. Now we go home, have a good weekend. So for me, there are a lot of things that makes for me a fantastic job. On the other hand, yes, you have to be, let's say it like this, it's easier when you are physically a little bit stronger, because it's hard work. The boxes of fish, nowadays they have boxes of 20, 25 kilo, but not so long, I think 10 years ago, boxes 40 kilos. Yeah. I know it's not allowed, you can only lift 25 kilos, but it happens. And it's already difficult when you're standing here, but then you must realize that you're going like this. So it's hard. And you have not so much sleep. That's sometimes they say, what's the most important thing for the guys on the ship? And they say sleep. Because you want it's not much. 6 hours free. It doesn't mean you have sleep 6 hours. And so some guys they want to take a shower and of course they go to sleep. And then when it's bad weather, when I say you'll not sleep very well when you're going like that and that. But it's all part of the game. Oh.
One observation and one question. My observation is that you're a real fisherman. This is what's happening if a fisherman starts talking. So passionate. Look at his face, smiling, happy. and he's not the only one. I see it more often when you talk about their industry, fishing. It's lively and happy. My question, you started when you were young. You look still very young, but you're a bit older. What kind of qualities did you gain in the industry which benefits you in daily life?
Let go. You must fix it. You must do it. It doesn't matter what. And that helped me also in daily life.
Yeah.
When you want something, it's going to happen. But you have to put the effort for it. It's going to happen. And also for making decisions. Because when you go to sea, you have to make the decisions. You have to make a decision. Which way we go? We go left or right? Do we go that or that? Shall we do one hole over there? But maybe you go that way. You have to, decision after decision. Because you have to take care of the safety for people on board. So you must be aware of the safety. You must be sure that you catch enough. Because everybody wants to eat. All things you have to calculate, and then you also have the quota and things. Because you say, there's a good there. On that place we can catch a lot, but we don't have enough quota. So you must think, okay, we can fish maybe half a day there, and then we must go and we must catch something. So decision on decision. You?
Did you work every week? Week after week? Because
Week after week.
oh God, with 6 hours sleep or less than 6 hours sleep every week?
Yeah, we go Sunday evening and till Friday morning. Most of the time Friday morning you go to the fish market. That's also one of the nicest things from fishing, because then you know how much money you get. You go to the fish market, you sell the fish over there. In the meantime, you're going to fix the boat for the next week, so you have to do the gasoline, the water, fix the nets, clean the ship, clean inside, outside, all that stuff, and then when you're lucky, at 12 o'clock you can go home. You know how much money you make, and then you go home. You sit on the couch, and then when you have the guts to drink a beer, then you then you fall asleep. And then Saturday you have the free, Sunday, and Sunday evening go back again.
Wow, that's hard work.
Yes, it's not all fun. We must be realistic, because when you want to go to a team, to sports, go for soccer or what, it's not possible, because you cannot go to trainings, match matches, yeah, maybe. But
So you have family? Wife, kids?
yes.
How you can?
I stopped fishing. Yeah.
It's not easy.
Um, it has also a plus. It keeps it exciting. Because every time you see, after 5 days, you see each other. And, always nice.
And it's this type of fisheries. The fisheries that are for the day. On our vessels, you're away for 6 weeks. 6 weeks off. So the whole kind of system in the fishing industry, but I also think in the maritime industry, work and private life balance is different.
Yes, the life gets better. Nowadays, I say we sail with 4, but there are now a lot of ships that have 5 crew members. And every 4 weeks, one stays home. So you have 1 week off after 4 weeks work. Yeah? And then, but you still get payment. Also, when you stay at home, you still have the payment of that week's catch. But you understand, when you have 4 crew members, you earn more than 5. Because you have to split.
Do you cluster with other ships because you have to know when you can fish so that others are not there, or maybe you get very nervous because you go this way with so many guests, a lot of fish, or?
That's part of the action, yes. That's the nice thing. That depends on the fisherman. You have fishermen who say, oh, there are a few boats over there, I go there because there's something to fish. For me, when I see 4 or 5 boats there, I go that way. Of course there's fish, but when there are 4 boats, you have to share with 4 boats. And when you go to a place where you can fish alone,
You have all the candy of your own.
you have all the candy of your own, yes? Yeah. Some questions?
Questions? How were your experiences in the prison?
Oh yeah, the prison. Now, well, as I said, I'm a teacher now at the maritime school, so I teach children from level 2. You have level 1, no, 2, 3, 4. 4 are more high education, 2 is the less. And I think I see something, but when I come to prison, I think, whoa, this is next level. Whoa, they were very active, very like, the talking there was, whoa. I tried to explain something, but then you have to search for, what the Rosa said, you have to search for a connection. So you, yeah, what do you like, what do you do in your spare times, and this and that, and some guys say, yeah, we like to go to the fitness. Okay, no, there you have connection, because you have to work hard on the ship, so it's also physical training, so you can make a connection. Or they say, I like to work with computers, also good. The last boat I sailed on, I counted in the bridge, we have 21 screens to work with. So they can go there. They can also have a connection. So yeah, that's important. You get their interest. Then sometimes you see, you catch them, I say it, you say, okay, now I have the attention. And then you can tell them something. But first, yeah, the most important thing, make a relation. Try to make that they trust you.
What were some of the weird questions you got? Or did you get any weird questions?
Yes, yeah, not weird anymore for me, but they always ask, do you stink to fish? Do you eat fish all week? I say no. I explained yesterday, I was on the dinner table, they say, oh, do you eat a lot of fish? I say, no. Why not? Yeah, it's easier to fry something than cut open fish and make it clean. So on the boat we don't eat so much fish. You always get questions from what's your biggest catch? What's the strangest things you catch? Things like that. We have the laughter with kibbeling. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, how do you explain that?
So in the Netherlands, fish and chips, like the fried fish from fish and chips, is called kibbeling. And a lot of people think that's a fish, but it's the way you prepare a fish. So he told them that it wasn't a fish, and they were all like, "What? It's a fish, right?"
They were flabbergasted. Oh, what do you say? Yeah, very nice.
Because that's about the only fish they know.
Yeah.
And then that one's not fish.
You can eat it everywhere, and everyone knows it, but it's not a fish.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I can't pass the sleeping hours. I mean, for me, it's well, actually 6 hours that you are free. So probably you have 5 or 4 hours sleeping. I mean, with so much work, probably you will be passing out. I mean, how? Why it's not like 8 hours? I understand that you need the money and you need to have, but it's
You can also fish with 5 people. That's not a problem. But again, then you have less money. So you can leave the decision to the crew. What do you want? More rest, more sleep, or more money? And the young guys always choose money.
I think there's also a lot of adrenaline, right?
If you're not a fisherman, it's actually that simple. You go aboard, we see on our vessels, the first trip, we know your stay really good. It's there. If you can't deal with that, there's no place for you on the vessel.
You're also not gonna like it.
No, you're not going to like it.
The younger years when I started fishing, I was more fishing in the deltas, and we also went for day trips, so I was at home every evening. But later on, I started fishing at the North Sea, and I'm not going to lie about it. The first week I was on that boat, I said, no, not again. Not again, the nets. No, what is this? I'm not going to make it. But then what the course say, well, it makes the fisherman in land, don't give up. So I say, I must do it. The rest is also can do it, so I must do it. But I was really broken the first week. The second week, a little bit better. And I have the agreement for 3 weeks. So and the third week, okay.
So it's not like, so you have an agreement for certain weeks and then you can rest. Because human mind cannot with 4 hours sleep for a long time. So you just had an agreement. What's the maximum agreement you have? Like
no, you are. You have no contract. Yeah, you have a contract. But when you say I stop, you are obligated to stay for 3 weeks, and then you can go.
So it's hard work for 3 weeks, and then
Yes.
you can sleep for 1 week.
Something like that. It's like the only thing you get is money. You have no for
Insurance.
Insurance. You must pay everything. The taxes you have to pay yourself.
And that's also different in the industry. They are self-employed,
Yeah.
and there are several self-employed that form a unity. And they, as mates, have a contract how to deal, how to share the cash, how to deal with the cost, etc. On our vessels, we employ people, so the workers, and we insure them, we train them, and that's different from self-employed on the vessel we're on, this sailing on. And on the side of sleep, at one point we had a directive on hours of rest board, and we thought safety would be at stake on those vessels. So then we had a researcher doing research on sleep and concentration, and to our surprise, safety was not at stake. They had to do all kinds of tests aboard in this cycle, the short cycle, work sleep, etc. And they said the concentration maybe a little lower, but not as low as that safety is at stake.
I have to just slow it down a little bit, because I say the holes, between holes you have 1.5 hour, maybe an hour, sometimes a little bit more. When you have catches, maybe you have to work 15 or 20 minutes and everything is finished. Then you have 1 hour for yourself. So then also you can take a little nap. Yeah? So it's not all the time 18 hours full cast.
And then
As a skipper, well, yeah, it's not the physical, but it's the concentration, because you have to be focused like a truck driver all the time.
Now, how are the salaries compared to other jobs?
When you only look at salary, it's good. It's good to very good. But when you can compare with how many hours you work, it's normal.
Because that would be important for somebody in prison, that they can say, okay, I'm going to make a lot of money.
And it's also a plus, because when you're at sea, you don't spend money.
They were actually
And
really
also a nice point to say, because you went with the 4, when you sleep, the 6 hours, you also make money. And the rest is working for you.
The youngsters were actually really surprised how much money you can earn. They were positively.
I can tell you something on board our vessels. When you step in and you have some experience, but no education, and there's always, it's a share of the cash. If you would have a bad year, it could be lower. On the average, the last 5 years, our crew members that are in the factory processing the fish without any education, only a basic safety training, earn somewhere between 60,000 and 70,000 euros a year. And if you go up to the skipper, more than 100,000, 150,000 a year. And looking at the level of education they have, it's a lot of money. But they work hard. They work hard.
Yeah.
Without doubt. They don't complain. They go. They do it together. It's a group of maybe friends. It's a bigger word, but it's getting very close. They're really mates and they stand for each other.
Yeah, and in terms of family, I also, in the Netherlands, you have a few female fishers, and I talked to them, and there's one lady, she has a family, she has a child, and they also decided they would do it differently. They still fish because they love to fish, but they fish shrimp, so it's a different kind of fishery. It's a boat that you mostly can do with two, so it's her and her husband, and they put some of the good money that they earned when they were still fully fishing in some rental homes in a tourism area. So they rent out the houses and they do 3 days of fishing a week, and then 3 days they're at home, or 4 days they're at home, and they do this. So they get some extra money. So there's ways in organizing it differently, because you are self-employed, because it is a small team, so together you can decide you do it differently. And I think also one of the things that will also maybe give you more free time is when you have met your quota. I don't know if that happened often, but you have caught enough fish, like you can't catch any more plaice, for instance, then you're done for the week, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So then there's also more time. So it also depends on how much fish you caught if you go.
Well, maybe nice to tell. I had one time the experience, went for cod fishing, and cod fishing can be really good. We went Monday morning, 8 o'clock. We started fishing. We go out to the harbor at 6 o'clock, steam for 2 hours. We start fishing, and we put the nets out of the water, start fishing, and I look on the screen, the echo sounder, and I see something, a nice bump. I said, whoa, that's good. So I turned around, and again, the bump was a little bit smaller. Then we hold the nets. We were busy for, I think, have 200 boxes, and that was also the quota for the whole year. And Monday evening at 8 o'clock I was at home. So that's how fast it can go.
So no week is the same.
No week is the same, no day is the same, no haul is the same.
I still have one question with regards to the pilot, because I think in Portugal they were struggling a lot with like the fear of the ocean. Did you encounter that as well? And was there anything that helped to take away the fear of how dangerous it is in their mind?
Or did you have fear yourself when you started?
No. No, I never had fear. I know it's a dangerous job. I also were with some small accidents, big accidents, but no. I was always alert, but not afraid. And no, I didn't. We don't have questions about fear of water. Eh? I don't remember.
No, they didn't ask anything
No.
of you, but some at the start said, hold on, I'm not going to the sea, that's dangerous. But you got them through that, I think.
I don't know what I said.
No.
Yeah, maybe just your enthusiasm and
Maybe
passion.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got some. You felt some resistance of, yeah, but why go away all week? That was something they, were not fond of. Because when they finish, you go to your friends and you do a nice day, or you hang out, or what they do, I don't know. And that, you don't have. You must do it with the guys on the ship. And sometimes that's also difficult. Because you are with 4 on a small, very small boat, so you have to accept a lot.
There were also guys who said, I would prefer to work on land. I would like to do something in this area, but not on the sea. I would prefer to do something on land.
But we need that as well, as Rose mentioned. There's a whole infrastructure behind it. Education,
So then you can go to
shipyards, deliveries of food, etc., etc., etc. So.
Also in the mussel industry or something, you can work day trips for the shellfish.
And you don't go out to the North Sea, right? So it's
Sea,
less dangerous, a little bit less.
Also a good good salary. You can also do day trips on the North Sea. There are also a few smaller ships fishing with the gill nets, the nets they put in the water, and the next day they take it out. So a lot of kinds of fishing.
And that's also in other parts of the maritime industry. You can sail on a truck, for instance.
Yeah.
That's more a day job.
Yeah, or in the port of Rotterdam, in the harbor, you can,
on the ferries.
On the ferries, yeah.
Any more questions?
Experience any dangerous situation at sea?
Always dangerous. Most of the time I think when you must be really extra attention with bad weather. Because then not only you go fishing with the heavy gear, but then you also go like a roller coaster.
So into bad weather you're fishing out of how?
We have some kind of point when the wave height is more than 2 meters. We don't sail. We don't go out. Because then it's not safe. But then again, when you're on the sea, a little bit further out of the coast, and it's nice weather, but the next day they give a little bit wind, and the waves go to 2 meters and 40 centimeters. But it's only for half a day. And then what are you going to do? Go inside and then wait and go back, or say, okay, it's only half a day, take the risk. 99 times of the 100 you take the risk. But then you must be extra careful.
Then you can still fish?
Yes.
Yes? Fishing
You can
goes
still
up?
fish, but also the fishing goes down.
Yeah.
Bad weather, you don't catch so much. I have to, we have time or not?
Yeah, we have time.
I At one time, experience, I saw how dangerous fishing can be, but it was good weather. It was very good weather. It was in December, and we were fishing. I was resting, I was sleeping, and always when they wake me up, they come down and they say, "Oh, it's time." Okay, but now it was the alarm. So I said, "Oh, there must be something going on." So I went up, and the man who was on the wheel in the night, he say, "The boat over there capsized." I said, "What?" So I looked out of the window, and I only see the hull of the ship. And I see one guy on the hull doing like this. So the first thing I said, boom, hold the nets from our own ship. So we hold the nets, and let's say it takes 1.5 minutes, maybe 2. And when the nets are up, I go full gas, turn the boat towards this, and I look, and there was nothing.
Nothing.
There was nothing. But then they popped up the lifeboat. It popped open, and so I say, "Oh, I hope it's there." And it takes about 10 minutes before we were there. And then the 3 guys were in the lifeboat, so everything was good. We put out a ladder, and they climb on board. I'm a big man, but I saw one. I said, "Whoa, he is really big." Well, that was not the case, but he had the boots with the suit attached to it, and it was full of water. So he was like this, and then he was up the ladder. But he made it. We called the Coast Guard, and the rescue boat came, and they took them and bring them to shore. We gave them clean clothes, cigarettes, of course.
It's such a stressful situation, yes.
And then, when everything is over, you in the evening, then you sit alone again in your house, and you start singing. Yeah, you must be careful. But also what I think was weird, when we got there, and the guys were in the lifeboat, there was nothing. Really nothing. I can say a ship goes down, something floats, something comes up, oil or what? Nothing. Completely nothing.
Wow.
And it was, for me it was strange.
Do you know what happened? Like how it capsized?
Yeah, they were, I don't know exactly, but they stuck in something on the seabed with the nets, and they were trying to get loose, and probably they were fishing with 2 nets on the side. One net got stuck. So you go like this. And then probably the other beam went up, and then flipped over, and then it was like seconds.
Are you aware of what meet you under the water? Did you dive or?
No. We just keep on fishing. And in the evening they came from the police, the rescue, and they come and make a statement and tell what you see, what you did, and they offer you help also for if you want to talk about it. So that was good. No. Yeah, it was strange. It turned out good. So yes, it is dangerous job. I think, except construction, the next dangerous was the most accidents.
Fishing is considered as one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. And then I say specifically in the world, because due to all kind of legislation and directives in Europe and European countries, the level of safety is higher in Europe, but still accidents happen, and sometimes fatal.
And you also get a lot of classes, right, on stability. So when this happened, what do you do? How do you make sure that your ship is stable again? But that's.
And we learn from these accidents. Specifically, if you look at this accident that happened, and that was a fatal one, fisherman drowned. So we have an independent investigation body. They did research. They're not allowed to punish, but they only advise. and they did to several organizations, the ministry and on legislative level, also to the industry, with education. So stability get more and other attention in their training, and there are training simulators to deal with this kind of situation these days. So we try to learn from it and improve it.
And that's why I thought dat ze zelf op zoek moeten gaan, wat er het meest gegeten en dat je daar en dat je kijkt naar hoe precies. Ja, en dat is het. Precies. En dezelfde. More questions? No? Thank you, Robert. I think this adds a lot to the. We can try to tell your story, but it's better coming from you because everyone saw your passion and enthusiasm. So that's.